So this time, let's open our Bibles to the book of Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6. And if you don't mind, if you're able, would you please stand with me and we'll read it together. Ephesians chapter 6. And of course, this instruction from the Apostle Paul regarding the parents and children, their relationship. Okay, are you with me? Share your Bibles with somebody. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 to 4. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with the promise, that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on earth. Verse 4. Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. May the Lord add His blessings upon the reading of His word, and most especially as we apply them into our lives. Please be seated. So, we hope that this is going to be a special day for the dads out there and for the family, for the kids especially. You have planned something special for him. And of course, it's not only during this time of the year, but every day we will be able to really enjoy each other's company and of course honor your dad. Today's message is not about how to be a good father, but instead, it's our response on how to honor and make it more practical as we get to know how to be able to really honor our Father in a very special and personal way. Okay? So the command that we see here is that the Bible is full of command regarding the instruction for us to obey our dads, our fathers, our parents most especially. In the Old Testament, you find that in the Ten Commandments included in Exodus chapter 20. Okay, let's read this together. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. In the same manner, in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 16, honor your father and mother as the Lord your God commanded you, that your days may be long and that it may go well with you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. God takes seriously your role as a father and your role as a child. And the reason why you're in that position is it's not for the purpose of showing who's superior, but instead it's for the purpose of putting order. And God, in His almighty act and His wisdom, can take care of each and every one of us, but He has placed it under the hands of our fathers in our earthly life. And that's the reason why these people, whom we call dads and moms, are actually God's instrument of bringing us here, and that we are to be reared by them. Now, the same way in the New Testament, we find, again, the same passage that we have read. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. Fathers, again the instruction, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. And then, children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Colossians 3:20. That's my picture of course, me and Mama and Papa. This is the first Father's Day that, Papa passed away September last year. My mom passed away in March. But, so normally the Lim brood would come together and celebrate Father's Day together. But this is the first Father's Day that he is not with us. Anyway, how do we honor our fathers? Now, during the time when God gave this institution and God gave that instruction for us to obey our parents, it also comes with a consequence. I mean, it's not just that, it's not a suggestion, it's a command for us to follow. And the question is, if we don't follow, what are the consequences? And of course, we know that, if you remember our Mother's Day message, that the consequence for disobedience and disrespect and dishonor, okay, when we dishonor our parents, is death. God takes it seriously. And if God takes it seriously enough to would cost you your life, then you should also take it seriously that we are to obey and honor our parents. Look at this passage in Deuteronomy. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and though they discipline him, will not listen to them. Then his father and his mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his city and the gate of the place where he lives. And they shall say to the elders of his city, This is our son. This our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voices. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of the city shall stone him to death with stones. So you shall purge the evil that from your midst, and all Israel shall hear it and fear it. Now, just imagine if that were true today, and that's still imposed today, I wonder how many of us will still be living by today. Do you think you'll still be alive? But as I was pondering upon this passage, I was also wondering, knowing the love of a father and a mother for the child, they have a way to overlook those petty disagreements. They have a way of overlooking those mistakes that we make and even probably our disobedience and disrespect. I wonder also how many of the people, of the parents, have actually gone to the city and asked them that their child will be stoned to death. I wonder. Because somewhere there, you have to be able to strike the balance of a person that is truly rebellious and one that needs to be disciplined in a different way. So, but the point simply is this. God takes seriously that our relationship with our parents should be one that is impeccable, something that we should always hold true, something that we will maintain and be able to hold with high respect. So, if that's the case, what are the things that we can do? So this is more of like the how-to in honoring our fathers. Okay, these are just suggestions. Number one is that we have to learn to understand. We have to understand the love languages of our parents. You know, oftentimes we compare. Right? We have this thing of comparing what our parents do, what our moms do, and what our dads do. Kuminsan nga sinasabi ng mga anak bakit ganon? Pagka si daddy ang wala sa bahay, okay lang. Everything is fine. Everything works smoothly, right? Pero pag si mami wala, parang lahat nagkagulo. That's how important moms are, right? Tama ba, moms? Thank you, moms. Palakpakan natin mga mami. Yan. Sila mga super women of our lives. Di ba? But we're asking something probably from our dads that something that they cannot give to us because they have a different love language. Okay? Let's look at this passage in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. When Paul was describing his ministry and his attitude towards the people that he ministers to, he gave us an imagery, the imagery of a parent. One is that of a mother, and the second is that of a father. Look at this. In verse 7 to 8 of 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says here, just as a nursing mother cares for her children, so we cared for you because we, what are the verbs here? What are the words that we use? Because we love you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. How does Paul characterize the love of a mother? Because we love you, we cared for you, we are delighted to share our lives, and there's sacrifice in the way they share. Now, let's look at this. Moms have a different way of showing their love and affection for everybody, and especially to their children. They hug us, they tell us, they express their love by saying, I love you to us. They take hold of our hands, they kiss our wounds at times, and that's how they are. On the other hand, look at this. In the same passage, Paul continues to describe another part of his ministry as a father. Let's read this together. For you know that we dealt with each of you as a father deals with his own children, encouraging, comforting, and urging you to live lives worthy of God, who calls you into his kingdom and his glory. Now, is that one and the same thing? No. They have a different way of showing. Paul is saying that I, as a person, can be your mother, and I can be your father, and I can do this differently. Now, the words I use here is that there's encouraging, there's comforting, and urging in the way they deal with us. Now, what's a good picture for this, actually, when we think about it? Now, I'm sure that some of you have kids that play basketball. And some of your kids, when they started with at a young age. Ang pinakamasarap panoorin, have you ever watched a mosquito level? Ha? Mosquito level, mga grade 3 and below. Takbo ng takbo, um, parang takbo, dribble ng dribble, pero walang gusto mag-shoot. Mga ganon, no? Anyway, just imagine what it's like if you have your kid at that age, 6 or maybe even yung mga elementary na, no? Mga juniors na siguro yon. And they play basketball. And then here's your kid, etong si Junior, naglaro. And suddenly he tripped. Okay? And along the way, he got elbowed. Okay? Or perhaps along the way, talagang he was hit by something else. Now, what's the reaction of the mothers? Moms? What's the reaction of the moms? Naku, si Junior, tinamaan, kawawa naman ang anak ko. Oh, grabe naman, nasaktan kaya yung anak ko. Coach, sub, natamaan yung anak ko. Di ba? Pag ganyan, sabihin, pagka na-elbow naman, naku, yung anak ko, grabe, tinamaan ng siko. Ilabas mo na, nasasaktan yung anak natin, ilabas nyo na, tama na. No? Tapos, magta-time out si coach. At eto na si mami, dala-dala yung towel. Anak, naku, punasan natin yung perspiration mo. Grabe, yung sweat mo. Pawis na pawis ka na. Di ba? Ganon, si mami, di ba? That's how she shows her love. On the other hand, dads, paano naman si daddy? Di ba? Pag naglalaro, biglang na-trip. Nako, nandun pa. Nakatingin si Junior. Nandun pa sa... Ano sabi ni mami? Kawawa yan ako. Sabi dad, tayo anak, tayo, talon. Di ba? Yeah, encouragement. Sige, tayo, we go. And nasigo, okay lang yan, sandali yun. Malayo sa bituka yan. Di ba? Grabe. Talagang ganun lang sasabihin. Tapos, sige, gwadya mo, pagka nasiko ka, sikuhin mo rin. Ganun ang mga instruction. Yun ang encouragement talaga. Encouraging, comforting, and urging. Diba? Ganun ang mga dads. Tama ba? Tama. Diba? Balik na rin kaya natin. Si Junior na-trip. No? Na-trip siyang ganyan. Tapos nasiko siya. Eto si dad. Ay, nako, si Junior, nadapa. Kawawa na may anak ko. Coach, time out muna, nasaktan. Tapos nag-time out si coach. Eto si daddy, may hawak-hawak na towel. Pupunasan siya. What do you think sasabihin ni Junior? Dad, wag ka nang manonood ng game next time. Ha? Kakahiya ka. Bakit? There's something different. That's expected on moms, and that's something is expected differently of dads. Why? Part of the difference. Now, we have to be able to learn to see the difference and how they express themselves to us, their love for us. Now, yung 5 languages of love is introduced by Gary Chapman. That says that lahat tayo we have different ways of expressing our love and care for one another. And here are the 5 languages. We have words of affirmation. There are some people that can really give you words of affirmation and encouragement. Kaya mo yan. You're good. You're doing well. Good job. Diba? And some people cannot do that. They don't express themselves well with words. However, they can express themselves in terms of gifts. Sige anak, what do you want? Anything you want. Let's go. Grocery tayo. Shopping tayo. I'll give it to you. Gifts. Meron din naman yung touch. Diba? Pagka yung hawakan, nakaakbay, And of course, by guys, mga dads, there's something that your children need, whether male, mga girls or boys. It's the rough and tumble thing. No? That's my specialty with kids. Rough and tumble. Kasi gusto mong ganun sila. Di ba? The touch is very important to them because they know that you love them. The acts of service. Sabi nga ko minsan nandun sa bahay, wala nga si mami, pero yung nandyan si mami, pero yung bumbilya, hindi may mapalit-palitan. Tama ba yun? Hindi ba mapapalitan ng mga mamis yun? Kaya! Superwoman yung mga mamis di ba? Kayang-kaya yun. Di ba? So, si dad kaya rin yun, pero mga siguro after 2 weeks, mapapalitan. Pero kaya nilang gawin yun. And that the time that is spent, how do you spend your time with with your children. Tinatawag po nating magic moments. Now, you have to understand their love language. The time is very important, perhaps one of the most important things. I remember there's a story of a father and son. They went out to fish together. And the boy was very excited. And the whole day, they were there fishing. They were just talking to each other because there's nothing much you can do when you're going fishing. Right? So they talked to each other. They were looking around, all that. And the dad just kept silent, just looking at his kid and all that. The son was telling him about a lot of things. And they caught nothing, by the way. They caught nothing, no fish for that day. Years later, somebody saw their diary and their entries on the day. And to the boy, the diary went like this. I went fishing with my dad today. We caught nothing, but it was the best day of my life. Beautiful. Nakita rin yung diary ng dad. And the entry goes like this. Went out fishing with my son today. Caught no fish. Day wasted. Oh. Can you hear the pain, the hurt? If the child saw that entry right there. Why? Because we have different ways of looking at things. And somehow there are different kinds of expectations, but we have to know how they do it. Now, what about you? Your parents have different way of showing their love for you. They may be generous in giving you gifts. They may be the type that will hold you by a hand and give you time. They want to have a date with you every week and just see how you're doing. And that's very important. And of course, even some people that are seemingly hard to understand. But for most men, of course, it is expected that they're the providers of the home. And so perhaps their expression of love is the way that they work hard to be able to provide for the needs of the family. What about OFWs? Okay? We want to express ourselves. They want to provide for us. They want to provide for us the best way that they know how. And perhaps there's a struggle on their part to do that. Here's a video about a son thanking his dad who was an OFW.
Tay, naalala ko pa noon na kahit gaano ka pa ka-busy, sinisigurado mo na may oras ka pa rin para sa amin. Andyan ka para magbigay ng mga payo, pinaparinig sa amin yung mga paborito mong mga kanta. Kaya noong umalis ka para magtrabaho sa ibang bansa, naging mahirap. Noong una, hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit kailangan pa umalis, kung bakit kailangan pa lumayo. Pero habang lumalaki ako, unti-unti kong naintindihan na para sa amin rin pala ito. Alam kong hindi rin naging madali para sa'yo na malayo sa mga taong mahal mo. Malungkot man, pero naiintindihan ko naman na ginagawa mo ito para sa amin. Kahit hindi mo sabihin at kahit malayo ka, ramdam ko hanggang dito yung pagmamahal mo. Salamat sa lahat ng sakripisyo mo para sa amin. Mahal na mahal kita. Tay, ikaw ang superhero ng buhay ko.
Palakpan po natin sila. But isn't it true that sometimes you don't understand what they're doing, but they're doing it for you and for me as kids? What is the love language of your father? You try to manage your expectations. And eventually the things that you want him to do for you, you can do that with your own children eventually. And if those things happen when you talk about your fathers, then you make a difference if you can be better than your dads. We have developed a generation and generations of better Christians and better fathers. Now, the second way in which we can honor our fathers is to thank them for their material provisions. Okay? Now, it's not very easy today. There was a time that it was okay to have just one income in the family, but now mothers and fathers, both of them have to work. It's quite tough times that we're in. I was in a baccalaureate service a few weeks back, JASAMS, and I tried to ask how much is the tuition fee for their year. And imagine, 90,000 per year about isang estudyante. That's tough. That's hard. But if you have parents that are really working hard so that they can give to you the special blessings, then by all means, take the time to say thank you. At samahan mo na rin ng I love you. Look at this. In 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for his immediate family, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's what it's saying here. The Bible instructs us that we are to work and work hard and be able to provide for needs. Some things that we have, we complain, especially the young people. We don't know what they're up to. We don't know what our parents are able to do. But at the same time, we have to remember that our parents are doing their best to be able to provide what is best for you. In another passage, in Luke chapter 11, talks about fathers again. Which of you fathers, if your son asks for a fish, will give him a snake instead? Or if he asks for an egg, will give him a scorpion? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give the Holy Spirit to those who ask him? In other words, here's a reflection that our fathers who are able to provide or love and care for us is actually a reflection of our God who is in heaven. His faithfulness, His loving kindness. And the very moment that He is able to provide for us, nangungutang yan, talagang nag-work yan, just so He can provide for us the best way that He can know how. And yet, what do we do in response? How do we do in school? How do we act towards them? Rebellious, disrespect? Is that how we do it? Or do we look at them with a sense of honor, with a sense of gratefulness for what they are doing for us? That's why on this special occasion, may I just request you, if you're a young person and if your fathers are still here, you call them up, you say thank you, and you say, samahan mo na rin ng I love you. I believe that it's all going to be worth it when they hear those words from you. And if they're here today, later on, give them a hug and just say thank you and I love you. Because the Lord provides for us in a very, very special way. Through your parents. And what do? Pagdating po natin sa bahay, magluluto, nakahain dyan. We say, Lord, thank you very much for this food. Once we open it, eto na naman ulam. You start to complain. A lot of people are envious of the things that you have. A lot of people would fight and kill for the things that you have. Don't take it for granted. Enjoy it. Appreciate it. Savor it. And be grateful for it. Because not everyone is able to experience the things that you have today. So, take the time to be grateful to them. And the third way is that, of course, we follow their example. Bakit dalawang there? Follow their godly example and faithful instruction. The Bible tells us about the way that parents are to instruct. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Don't keep on scolding and nag. That's another version of Ephesians 6:4. Don't keep on scolding and nagging your children, making them angry and resentful. Rather, bring them up with the loving discipline that the Lord Himself approves. In other words, it is important that you take the time to listen to your father's instruction. You try to live his life. You try to look at his life and observe him in such a way that you'll be able to say, ganitong dad ko. The things that are positive about him, you imitate. The things that you don't like about it, then take it away. But whatever it is, the things that they're doing, they can do it. They will only do it because they, as far as they're concerned, that's the best thing that they can tell you right now. And the important thing is that you listen to their instructions. Now, I thank the Lord, if I may share some personal things, even through this message, that we have a dad. My father passed away at 89 last year, but we have a dad that was really a Christian. He was a Christian leader, and he took his role as a father seriously. In special instruction, there are some things that we will never forget for as far as the Lim broods are concerned. The Lim brood is concerned about the things that legacy of his principles to us. The first basic that he taught us is to live things with simplicity. His favorite motto in life is keep it simple. Everything is keep it simple. Everything is keep it simple. Okay? When decisions are to be made, how many cars you want to buy? One brand new or two second hands? Easy. Keep it simple. Let's have the 2 second hands. If we're going to buy something, we buy some things for our things for school. Keep it simple, not the fancy ones. It's always keep it simple. Now, we, as far as the Lims are concerned, we can say that pulos po kami minimalist when it comes to our things. We don't go for so many fancy branded things, but instead we just take things on the simple side. Another thing that my father taught us, remember we are 5 brothers, 5 boys, and 1 girl. The only girl in the family is the eldest. She was States for the longest period of time. But one time, I remember, I think I was in college by then, that he took us all one time in the living room. And he gave us one basic and very important teaching for men to hear. And he told us, boys, do not play with girls. In other words, do not take your relationships for granted. And the basic reason is, he said, because I love your mom, I don't want to hurt her. And so I don't want you to hurt the special women in your life. Wow, that made an impact in such a way that where else would you want to hear those things? And where else can you find, where else and who else can teach you those things except from somebody who live it out? Diba? Do you expect those teachings to come from your friends, your barkadas? Or perhaps you can find it from your friends' parents? It's always best to learn the good things in life from your own parents. And that's very important. The things that they taught you. A lot of things that he taught us, but those are part of the things that are important to us. The third important thing is that church. Church is important. You have to put God first in all aspects. You have to put God first in the first. Alam niyo yung first? Put God first in your finances, in your interests, in your relationships, in your schedule, in your troubles. And my parents leave out those things. You know, Sunday is not optional to go to church. It's a requirement. Unless you have an IV on your arms, you have to go to church. That's how important it is. That's how important it is that the relationship that they fostered and nurtured through the years with God is something that is true of us today. It's important that we put God first in everything, the tithing, in scheduling, everything. We put God first. If people will come, if guests would come and say, Uncle, Auntie, we can be in your house, but we can only be there on Sunday. And said, great, let's go to church together first. Then after that, we'll have lunch. But it's never an option for us not to go to church simply because we have to entertain anybody. So, in other words, we put God first, and these are things that will be lived out not only by your words, but by your life. Now, let me just insert a little instructions for the dad. There's now a phenomenon in family life called the silence of Adam. The silence of Adam simply means that the dads are too quiet. They don't speak out. Every time there's a question, Dad, I would like, how can I do this? You ask your mom. Dad, what will I do with this? You ask your mom. Dad, where am I going to do this? You ask your mom. It's always ask your mom. And you have become too quiet. You are so active in your work, in your office, so when you go home, you turn on the TV, and everything else is quiet. And nobody interacts with you anymore. To the point that your opinion as dads, hear me out, to the point that your opinion as dads doesn't matter anymore. You know why? You don't have an opinion. You're too quiet. You're too silent. The Bible admonishes parents, especially dads and fathers in particular, that you will spearhead the teaching and instruction of your children. In fact, the main center, the main hub of education for the Israelites and the Jews is not to have these professional schools out there, but it's always the home. That's why even today, I'm a proponent. Joy and I are proponents of homeschooling. Because basically, the things that you learn have to start from school. You don't depend on the church. You don't depend on Sunday school. You don't depend on your school to teach your children those things, especially character. It's for you to do that as parents. I hope that you take the time to say, and once again look at yourself, say, yes, I have to do something about this. I will have to talk with my children. Because there's that period of time that we call the magic moments. These are the times when your children are just so attached to you. They want to listen to you. They want to be with you. They want to imitate you. Okay? And those are the magic moments that you can train them and lead them and instruct them. Because eventually there will come a time they won't even want to walk with you. They don't even want to go to places where you'll be. They don't even want to be seen with you. They don't want even to be kissed by you. Seize that moment, that magic moment, and teach them about the ways of the Lord, and teach them about your principles, and teach them how to live their lives in accordance with how you know how. So, we have to understand that these are things that God wants us. Now, what are the things that we can do also? Especially if we have some different situations. I understand, of course, that there are some of us who you may not have an ideal relationship with our fathers. So let's go to some specific things. The Bible tells us also that we are to honor our elderly parents. That means that we have to respect them. That means that we don't speak ill of them, that we honor them at all times. Their reputation should be shielded away from what others would, their reputation should be kept intact. But what if your father especially, are elderly and sickly? What do you do? It is our responsibility to care for them. There's such a thing as we call as the cycle of life. That when we were young, there you see your children being cared for, us being cared for. And by the way, wag po natin isipin kung kayo parent or lolo na pinag-usapan lang po natin dito yung relationship niyo sa mga anak niyo o mga apo niyo. Because you yourself is also a child. You are your parents' child. So think about your relationship also with your parents. So if you have elderly, they're advanced in years, and they're staying with you, then by all means, open your home to them and care for them in the same way that they cared for you. I have here a letter, an article by Ariel Robles sa aking pagtanda. It's like a letter of a tatay, sulat ni tay at inay sa kanyang anak. And I'm going to read it, but think of your own parents. And especially if you have elderly ones in your home, think of it as a letter from them to you. Anak, sa aking pagtanda, sorry, this is in Tagalog. I was not able to translate this in English. Anak, sa aking pagtanda, unawain mo sana ako at pasensyahan kapag dala ng kalabuan ng mata ay nakabasag ako ng pinggan o nakatapon ng sabaw sa hapagkainan. Huwag mo sana akong kagalitan. Maramdamin ng isang matanda. Nagsa-self-pity ako tuwing sisigawan mo ako. Kapag mahina na ang tainga ko at hindi kita maintindihan, huwag mo naman sana sabihin ako ay bingi. Pakiulit mo na lang ang sinabi mo or pakisulat na lang. Pasensya na ka na, anak. Matanda na talaga ako. Kapag mahina na ang tuhod ko, pagtiyagaan mo sana akong tumayo. Katulad nung pag-alalay ko sa iyo nung nag-aaral ka pa lamang lumakad. Pagpasensyahan mo sana kung ako man ay naging makulit at paulit-ulit na parang sirang plaka. Basta pakinggan mo lang ako. Huwag mo sana akong pagtawanan o pagsasawaang pakinggan. Natatandaan mo ba, anak, nung bata ka pa? Kapag gusto mo ng lobo, paulit-ulit mong sasabihin, maghapon ka nangungulit hanggang hindi mo nakukuha ang gusto mo. Pinagtiyagan ko ang kakulitan mo. Pagpasensyahan mo na rin sana ang aking amoy. Amoy matanda na, amoy lupa pa. Huwag mo sana akong piliting maligo. Mahina na ang katawan ko. Madali magkasakit kapag nalalamigan. Huwag mo sana akong pandirihan. Natatandaan mo nung bata ka pa? Pinagtyatsigan kitang habulin sa ilalim ng kama kapag ayaw mo maligo. Pagpasensya na kung madalas ako masungit, dala na marahil to ng katandaan. Pagtanda mo, maintindihan mo rin ang lahat na ito. Kapag may konti kang panahon, magkwentuhan naman tayo. Kahit sandali lang. Inip na ako sa bahay. Maghapong nag-iisa. Walang kausap. Alam ko namang busy ka sa trabaho. Alam ko rin naman hindi ka interesado sa mga kwento ko. Pero alam mo, natatandaan ko pa nung bata ka, pinagtsatsagan kong pakinggan at intindihin ang pautal-utal mong kwento tungkol sa iyong teddy bear. At kapag dumating na ang sandali na ako'y nagkakasakit at nakaratay sa banig ng karamdaman, huwag mo sana akong pagsawang alagaan. Pagpasensya mo na sana kung ako man ay maihi o madumi sa higaan. Pagtiyagaan mo sana akong alagaan sa mga huling sandali ng aking buhay. Total, hindi naman ako magtatagal. Kapag dumating ang sandali ng aking pagpanaw, hawakan mo ako sa aking mga kamay at bigyan mo ko ng lakas ng loob na harapin ang kamatayan. At huwag kang mag-alala. Kapag haharap na ako sa Diyos na lumikha, ay ibubulong ko sa Kanya na pagpapalain ka niya sapagkat ikaw ay naging mabait na anak. At ikaw ay naging mapagmahal sa iyong ama't ina. Salamat anak sa iyong pag-aalaga. Mahal na mahal kita. Love, nanay at tatay. You see, that memory is probably the last thing that you ever see from your parents. And whatever time that you have, give it your best. My father had what we call as a long goodbye. Tawag po nila sa Alzheimer's long goodbye. Kasi nandyan siya, buhay, humihinga, walang kilala. Hindi kami kilala. Di kilala pangalan ko, di kilala kung sino di alam kung nasaan kami. Even yung brother ko na namatay doon sa casket, pagtingin niya, sino yan? Long goodbye. But during those times, when you could just take hold of their hands, and you care for them, at sabi nga po dito sa letter, the same way that I held your hands when you were young. Let's give it to them. The second thing is, what about if you have fathers who are dishonorable? They're probably negligent to you. Perhaps they were abusive to you. Perhaps they're the type that are no good as a person. And you just want them out of your life. Well, the first step is for you to forgive them. But please, I also want you to know that God did not make a mistake when God gave you that father into your life. I cannot explain. I do not know why. But perhaps there's a lesson for you to learn in that kind of situation. The first thing we have to learn is to learn how to forgive. To be able to say that the consequences of what he did to you is gone and you'll forget about it. But the best way that you can forgive your father is for you to step out of the shadows of his actions and to live your life and overcome those things and change your life for the better. I hate to say it, pagka meron pong nagpapakounsel at sabihin, kaya ka ganito, kasi ganito ang tatay ko noon. Kaya ganitong attitude ko, kasi ganitong pamilya ko noon. Hey, ilang taon nang patay ang tatay mo, ilang taon nang wala siya. It's about time you move on and manage your life and see how things can be better. And you ask God for help so that you'll be a better person, so that the next generation will be a generation of people who can tell you that you're godly and a good father. That will be the best way that you overcome your hurt and your pain from what your dad did to you. Just learn to forgive. And may I also say a word or two about those of you, perhaps, who are adopted. For some reason, your parents gave you away for a reason. At that point in time, it was the best decision they can make for themselves. And whatever happened for you and whatever happened to you is not dependent simply on what transpired in the past. But you have to learn to fend for yourself and see how you can change the future. Stop feeling the hurt of being given away, but instead embrace your new home. Embrace your adoptive parents. Be grateful and be thankful for them. It's not like they turned their backs on you. No, it was the best decision they can make at that point in time. We have a story of one of our members here who presented to me his story and said, you know what, I was given away because at the point in time when I was born, my mother died, according to him. So he was given away. He didn't know that he was just given away until he was a teenager. And there it was there that he found out that he was simply adopted by this distant relative. And so he tried to look for his biological family, and they got to know each other. And for him, he says, yes, I was given away, but I think I was given away for the better. Because if I was not given away, I would not have even finished college. Now, in that little tiny house that they have of his biological family, hang one single photo of him graduating from college. The only one they have, and they're very proud of it. And he said, if it were not for that act of love on their part to give me away, I don't know what I would become. So please, if you are in that kind of situation, please don't think twice about it. Remember, your parents did not get in the way of God's plan for you. If you have that kind of situation, you were adopted, you have abusive parents, or negligent parents, remember they're part of God's plan for you. But I can explain why. It's up for you to understand and ask God why and live on and move on from there. That's the way to do it. And last, of course, honor your departed fathers. We need to remember them. Are there things that you remember? Pagka po tayo nagkakaroon ng funeral memorial service, one of the things that we do is say something about the person. What are the things that you miss about him? The best way that we can live their lives is that we continue to live the things, to love the things that they love, enjoy the things that they enjoy. My father was an active member of the Gideons, when nag-distribute the New Testament. And he wished that all of us will be part of the Gideons. I can't because I'm a pastor. But yung isa pong brother ko is very, very active. Unfortunately, he died earlier than Papa, noong pong 2013. But we continue up to this day to support the ministry of Gideons. Okay? Because we know that it's something that he loved. Then we remember the things that he loved, the things that he enjoyed. He had a plan before. Although sabi namin that time, pasay na yun kasi gusto niya doon sa kanyang lupa, somewhere in Cagayan, he will put up a library for some children out there. And it never happened during his time, but now we're planning to do something about it. Maybe not a library, maybe something else, but something for the good of the community. Why? Because he cared for it. But you know what? The Lord has blessed us today, in our time today, with something that will help us remember each other and our loved ones for good. It's called the cell phone. It's called the smartphone, where you can take pictures. We have Facebooks, where we can post those important events and moments of our lives. And I'm for one is a person that would say, I encourage you to take lots of pictures. Hindi lang yung pagkain, no? Where you dine in, but take the time to take pictures with your family and friends. Because eventually, that's the only thing that will hold on, that you can remember. One time we were talking sa family, and asked, if nasunog ang bahay, anong ilalabas nyo? That was the question. Somebody said appliances. Grabe naman, appliances, hirap. Somebody said papers. O nga naman, mga titulong, hirap pa-reconstruct. But that time, hindi pa uso masyadong cellphone, nasabi ng isang family member, sabi niya, albums. Why albums? It's so hard to reconstruct memories. You know what? God has blessed us with your phones. Take the time to click away, to be with your friends, to be with your family, to be with your loved ones, and especially your dad and your mom. Today, when you go out to dine for lunch or for dinner, take the time to picture and share what you appreciate about your dad. And video it so that you can remember things that you would appreciate about him. And of course, every time that you remember him, even if he's departed, he will not just come alive. Here's a video clip I'd like to share with you. I must have watched that video 1,000 times. But isn't it great that God has blessed us with those gadgets today so that we can remember our loved ones? Take your phones away and say, these are special moments with the ones that I love. At hindi lang po yung still, sabi ni isang nanay kanina, sabi niya, oo nga, puros picture, wala kami video. Eh, mas maganda yung video kasi gumagalaw kami. And let it be that today, on this very special day, your assignment will be this. Number one, go to your father and tell him, thank you, and I love you. Second, from this time on, mura lang naman ang memory card. Click your phones away and go on, take videos, special moments, and remember those times together. Because it's only the best treasures you'll ever have in your lifetime. And so today, on this Father's Day, we say, how do you honor your father? We understand their love language. We say thank you to them for their material provisions. We follow their godly examples and faithful instruction. Because after all, it's this. Let's remember that our Father here on earth is a reflection of our Father in heaven. So look at your dads and you say, Dad, I can see God in you. You are God's blessing to me. You are God's gift to me. I thank you very much.